Remember to like and subscribe and share this with somebody that you love. Nobody starts at the finish line. You have to start somewhere. In order for you to get to where you're going, to meet that destination, you can't think that you're going to get there instantly.
Welcome to another episode of the Mr. Mindful Minute podcast, where we touch on different things of different topics on how we could go from a nothing place to a something place in different areas of our life. And today we are talking with a good friend of mine, special guest, Coach Marcy. I'm gonna let her introduce herself because what better way to introduce yourself than yourself? So tell the people who you are, where you from, what you do.
Well, my name is Career Coach Marcy, and I reside in Georgia. And I am a career coach that helps her clients understand their passion, to identify their career path, and secure the career of their dreams for the salary that they deserve. And I offer different levels of coaching to include one-on-one, group coaching, resume coaching, and this all includes your interview prep, your cover letter, your salary negotiation, thank you letter, as well as social media cleanup and LinkedIn optimization.
Listen, Marcy, I just want from the jump, I want to say thank you for getting on here because honestly, I didn't know what a career coach was until I was introduced to you. I was like, a career coach? It's like, what is that? And so when you actually started explaining what it is that you do, it kind of blew me away because I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know it was somebody that actually specializes in helping people to really get a job. And it can be very difficult, and then seeing all of the different transitions that we have to go through. Sometimes when we're going through job loss or we're just trying to transition. So I just want to start off with what actually got you into career coaching? That is my first question.
I got into career coaching because I experienced job loss in the worst way. I had worked for an organization for a few years, went away to a beach vacation, like I do every summer. And I came back to work that Monday after being off for a week and basically was told that they were releasing me. Now, I lost my job, but I lost everything else. It wasn't just the job. It was to the point where all I could think about was, how am I going to eat? What am I going to do to pay for the kids' lunch? It's June 19th and I have to pay the rent in 11 days. What will I do? And the bad part is, how do you explain that to your children? And I had never been released from a job since I've moved down here from New York. So I had no idea where to even start. Like, I knew where to go and what to do. Like, okay, I'm going to file for unemployment. Where? Where's that office at? Okay. And then what do you do? How do you work the system in this state to apply for unemployment? What exactly is required? What documents do I need? These are the things that I didn't really understand because I was not ever on unemployment. So I wasn't sure what was required. I stood outside of the building where I had just been fired. The worst part was security escorted me out because the man who terminated me jumped when I extended my hand to say, thank you for the opportunity. He jumped, ran out the room and called security on me. So they came up and got me and took me out to my car. And I basically stood there and I looked at that wonderful glitzy building and I said to myself, I can't believe this just happened. What did I do? I lost my career. What do I do? And then everything else just came. Like, I don't know where to turn. I looked across the street. My favorite restaurant is there. I worked across the street from the mall. Like I could spend my whole lunch in the mall. And no more of that. No more driving anywhere. No more traffic. I'm now having to crunch numbers and determine what I'm going to have to do to make it. And first thing I thought, put gas in the car. You're going to have to go for a ride and figure out where you're going to start applying. Already, I'm targeting new places I can work. And it just brought tears to my eyes. And I got off the highway and filled up with gas just to fill the tank up. And I looked up, and across the street, I saw a lot of people around a building. And I'm like, what's over there? What are they doing? And I went across to see what was happening. And before I could even cut across the street to see, I kind of leaned back and I looked, and it was the Department of Labor. And I said, ooh, it's a reason why I ended up right here at this place right now. And when I went inside, I filled out a piece of paper, and they called my name about 15 minutes later. And she says, well, we're going to need to have you upload your resume. I said, oh, I have copies of those. Being a career coach, I carry resumes in the car all the time. I never know who I might have met back then. And I went and spoke to her and showed her my resume. And she said, we can't help you. I said, what do you mean you can't help me? She says, you're overqualified. We can't help you. What we can, I mean, you can probably help us. We have a woman that comes that does classes. We need to have more people come do that. Let me go get her for you. And she left and came back. And when she came back, I met the young lady, and she just looked at me. She said, you have how many years of HR experience? Oh my goodness, this resume is amazing. Can you come and speak to the clients we have? I'll get approval. We can pay you $300 per time you come in. And I said, wow, okay. Okay, so I've got an extra $300, and I'll be able to survive a little off of this unemployment. But that was the day that I realized I did have something other than just going to work. I really enjoyed when I was speaking and what I was speaking about. And it was sincere and from the heart, because during that time I said to them, I'm not different than you. I'm actually on unemployment. So I know what it is to sit in this room and figure out how I'm not going to have a check next week that resembles the job I was working. So how do you come out of that sort of thing? And it was quite traumatizing. And even though it was short-lived, I already knew that it was something I never wanted to go through again. And that was where it all began.
Wow. Like it's really crazy that you becoming a coach kind of was given to you. It wasn't even something that you were like, oh, I'm looking to do this, and oh, I think this will be a good business venture. Like you was really in the thick of it, and boom, here you go. You go in here, you're looking for like to get help, and in turn, they say, no, we need your help. How crazy is that? You're going to go get help, and they say, no, we need your help. Wow, I know that had to be a real eye-opening moment for you, where it's just like, people need my expertise and what I have to offer. And maybe we don't even sometimes realize what we have to offer. We really sometimes downplay our abilities or our skills or something that we are just been good at for so many years, and we don't even see, no, I could probably be helping somebody with what it is that I know and what I learned. And you experienced that firsthand. And they gave you, look, it might not seem like a lot, right? But if you just lost your job, $300 is a big deal. You know
right. And I was just surprised. I said $300 to come and speak once. You mean I'm gonna get that every time? Oh, now I need to speak more than just once. And she said, well, hold on now. Let's go ahead and, pull it back a little bit. Let's get you started first. I only lasted 3 weeks. Week 3 was when I announced that I was actually hired by an organization to do HR and recruiting again. And everybody in the room was just so excited, like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And it gave them the feeling like, wait a second, she just was in here sitting in the waiting room with me 3 weeks ago, and she has a job. She knows the secret sauce to getting into the career that you want. And she negotiated $25,000 more.
Ooh. So you go from no job, right? You go from vacation to being fired to no job to getting kind of like contract work on the spot to having a new career and actually getting 25 times. Listen, if that's not somebody who knows how to actually implement certain things, and as you said, the secret sauce, right? We all know that our food is really good when we make it, but when we put that secret sauce on there, it's just so much sweeter. And that's what you have. So you actually went through career transition in the midst of you becoming a career coach at the same time. So, all right, now that we know how you actually got started, like how this was kind of bestowed upon you, like what are some things that people actually miss when they're trying to go and find a job?
Mm, that's a big one. One of the biggest things that the biggest takeaway is make sure your resume is up to date. Make sure that you follow a particular format. I see resumes that are listed with the first job you've worked at the top and the most recent job at the bottom. Well, that's how you might write a book or write a story from beginning to end, but we want it in reverse chronological order for the most part. I also see resumes that don't have dates like a month and a year. It just has the year that they worked. Recruiters tend to believe you have something to hide if you just put 2016 to 2017, 2017 to 2018. I need the months so that I can verify your employment. And then also in every position that you've worked, recruiters no longer want to see your responsibilities. They want to see your accomplishments. They want to see your contributions. They want to see awards. That's what they want. Because if I'm hiring for something I absolutely don't know about, I know how to look up the job description. Remember, I'm the recruiter, so I made the job description. I got it from the hiring manager. So I don't need you to regurgitate the information that I just told you I'm looking for in the resume. I want you to give me tangible proof that you know how to do what you said you did and what you achieved in the resume. So those are the biggest mistakes that people make. They just are not sure how to put that resume together.
And I know for myself, like those are some things that I just never even thought about, and thankfully I haven't had many jobs in my work life, right? And but I just do know that it's certain things that it's looked for, but I'm like, well, I don't actually, you don't think about, oh, well, what is it that they're looking for? Like as you said, like, oh, well, let me just say, oh, what they're hiring for the position. But you don't, the first thing that it don't stick out to you to say, let me say what I can contribute or my achievement or my accolades.
Mhm.
When you said something very, very interesting to me when you said you can apply for a job that you have no experience in. Now, I find that to be very, very crazy, right? Because the first thing that comes to my mind is like, well, if I don't have no experience in the job, why am I going to apply for the job? So, what does that actually look like for somebody that wants to go through a transition and say, I actually want to get a different job in a field that I have no expertise in, I have no knowledge about? What do I do to still land this job?
In order to do that, the best thing you can do is take online courses. You don't have to have the college degree because nowadays, think about it this way. For those that have a college degree, that's wonderful. But if your college degree is in marketing and you now want to move into HR, it doesn't relate. But guess what? They only said you must have a bachelor's degree. They didn't say in what. So now organizations are hiring you just because you have the degree, but they're also looking for relevant coursework you may have taken in school, or even if you did an online course recently. And a lot of people don't know, but there are a lot of free online schools in many of the Ivy League schools that exist. So Harvard, Cornell, MIT, and that's just to name a few. And there are some that are very low cost as well, like Google offers certifications for as low as $67. There's some that are even lower than that, actually. I saw one for $45. So you can actually get that relevant coursework, show the certifications, do LinkedIn Learning, and that will give you the background to say, although I have not gained the work experience, I do have the education.
Oh, wow. Now, I feel as though that is not something that most would ever even think of considering. Take some type of certification. And listen, a free certification at that, because when we think free, we like, oh, it's not valuable. And so when you're saying, oh no, just take this free certification in this field that you have no expertise in, well, now you can go here and say, well, I took this certification. And they're like, oh, okay. All right, cool. We can do something with that because you're not unknowledgeable now because the certification just gave you some type of knowledge. I can see how that works. Now, for somebody, let's just say for myself, right? Let's say for myself, I'm at this job that I've been at for a little while. I haven't progressed in this job, right? And I want to get a new job in a totally different field, but I'm hoping to try to make a little bit more money. What type of things should I actually be putting down on my resume to make it look better for me so I can try to land this job? So let's say I'm a truck driver, right? And with being a truck driver, okay, we know what that is, but I want to go from being a truck driver to doing desk work. What could I do to help me land something like that?
That's a great question. If you wanted to transition careers from even truck driving into a desk role, you can actually speak of the things you do when you're driving the truck that's administrative. Administration is big. So think of it this way. You have, and it's amazing that you even brought that one up. You have a pre-trip inspection, you got a post-trip inspection. That's administrative. You have to log every single stop. That's administrative. Even if you have something like big road attached to your vehicle, you're still having to enter documentation. You still have to do inventory. So now you have experience with inventory management. You turn around and you still have customer service skills because every stop you have, you're engaging with someone in the business. So you've got all of these different skills that you can also put down based on what you've done as a truck driver to allow you to now have this desk job. So you can actually work in a call center. You can actually work at the airport. You can work a lot of different places where they have stand-up kiosks where you're helping individuals. You can work at a telecommunications place like a cell phone store. Those are places that actually have good roles and positions. And you're no longer over the road. You don't have to worry about whatever it is why you say, oh, well, I just don't want to drive trucks anymore. I just want to do desk work. Guess what? That is your answer. That is the way that you break in.
Wow. Now, see, I would have never said anything like that because you don't think of those things when you're doing the thing that you do on a regular basis. You don't stop to say, well, this actually carries over into something else. So it brings me to this point. When we're trying to get in tune with something that we love, right? And we're not seeing how we can take what it is that we love to do or we do on a regular basis and find a career out of that or start a business out of that. What is something that you would want people to take heed to so they can actually believe in it is what they do to see how it carries over somewhere else? And you gave some really, really good tips. I like how you said with the pre-trip and that's administration. I love that. So like just to kind of piggyback off of that.
Wow, that's if I'm not really sure and I feel like it's something I can't do, I have to really think about what I currently do. I would write down exactly what I do now. A lot of us with our resumes have already done that, but we're changing the way that resumes look nowadays. But take that older resume and look at all of the different tasks and responsibilities that you've outlined and recognize what is a transferable skill. There are hard skills and there's soft skills. Hard skills are skills that you may have gotten an education or certification in. Soft skills are things like, customer service, hardworking, dependable, punctual, professional, courteous. These are things that still relate in no matter what career role you decide you want to take. So I always say, list out everything that you've done and then start to think about, well, this new career I'm looking to go into, will it need that? And if it does, hey, guess what? I got it. Check mark. And then before you know it, you're checking down the whole page. So you might not have to do a pre-trip and a post-trip, but you will need to fill out documents and have some kind of administrative task where you've got a check sheet that you have to go through. So it may not say pre-trip inspection. It may say something else. So this is how you troubleshoot if somebody calls the call center for cell phone service. And this is what you'll need to say. Or this is how you're going to need to speak to someone when they need an upsell for their cable. All of that still comes into play because customer service is one of the biggest things that they look for in terms of, any employer. How do you speak? How do you articulate? Those are the things that they're looking for as well. So those are the things I like to look for when I think to myself, is it something I can really do? Does this make sense?
All right. Now you just said something about resumes don't look the same anymore. Now, what do you actually mean by resumes aren't looking the same anymore?
Without telling my age, I will say this. Resumes were black and white for a very long time, and they still are for the most part. But now you've got color. Now you've split it up differently, where you've got a bar on this side that has some information, and then you've got the bulk of it on this side that talks about all of your work experience. They've also instructed everyone on how and where to put their education. There's also the fact that in the US, it's not really something that we do, but a lot of other countries are adding photographs to resumes. But the biggest takeaway, like I said, never list your tasks and responsibilities. Always list accomplishments, achievements, and awards.
Okay. That's definitely some good information. All right, so let's go here with this now. What do a person do that hasn't been working for a couple of years, right? They have a very big gap in their work history and they want to get back in the work field. How do a person now transition into that? And of course, I know some of the things that you said earlier about taking some classes or certifications, but what are some other things that somebody could do that hasn't worked in a while and they're like, you know what, I need to find a job, or I want to find a job now. So what are some things that a person could actually do in that situation?
The biggest thing anyone can do that's looking for employment with a career gap is network. Network. Get on LinkedIn, start to network. Get on every networking platform that allows for large groups to jump on a call. So when you hear about meetups and things of that nature, jump on those. Anything that's a virtual event, jump on it. You need to get your name out there. You need to start to meet people that are in the places you would like to be. So that's the thing. You have to think about the company that you keep right now. If they're not helping you find employment, that's not your company anymore. You need to go ahead and talk to whomever is working in an organization that has the role you're looking for, or go directly to the people that actually have that position now. So you'll go to LinkedIn and do a search and just put in the title of the job that you're looking for. And then you say in people, and that title, for all the people that have that title, you can narrow it down by company, by city and state within the most recent, week or so. And you can even say, do they work remote? And it'll give you all of those answers. Those are the people you want to connect with. You don't want to send them an email. What you want to do is press connect. When you press connect, send a personal note and identify yourself and tell them why you're reaching out. And ask them, are you available for an informational interview? Now, when you do that, I don't know anybody who doesn't want to talk about what they do as a career. When they really enjoy what they do, they will have that conversation with you. So those are the best things that you can do just using one platform to be able to get out there, and someone somewhere who has a connection is going to plug you in, because it is about who you know.
So you highly recommend LinkedIn as a platform for people to go to in their job transition, their job search. It's not just about going on Indeed or things like that anymore, right?
That is correct. And it depends on your level in your career. So if you are new to the workforce, LinkedIn is still the answer. If you're in the midsection of your career, LinkedIn is still the answer. And if you're transitioning and you're over the age of 40 or 50, LinkedIn is still the answer. Indeed takes away your personality. Indeed is black and white. So if you don't have a resume that's already created that you can upload, and you just enter information into Indeed's website, all of the resumes look identical. How will they see you? And that's the biggest reason why people are steering away from Indeed. The benefit of Indeed, however, is that they have the biggest pool of careers listed. The biggest pool. But
Okay.
for those that are looking for management or senior management into C-suite, that would put you on LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter more than on Indeed.
Okay. All right. So what does a person do? Say they're adolescents. What do you say to them? They're like, you know what, I want to get a job, and they make 16 and 18, and they're like, I want to find a job now. They're ready to flap their wings. Is there any suggestions that you have for those people? Because I'm sure that I have listeners that have kids that are like, oh no, I want to start working. I want to do this. And I know for myself, even my child has even been saying that. So is there any tips that you could give them, in this their being their first job?
Absolutely. The first tip I will give is to utilize the resources you already have. So guess what? You took a course in school. Make sure you notate that. So those are relevant courses. When recruiters see relevant coursework that relates to what they're looking for in the position, that puts you above others. Recruiters also love the younger group because they can almost mold that brand new worker into what they want in the culture of that organization and in that position doing the role. So that's another takeaway as well. But for those that are teenagers and just ready to start working, I really suggest that you learn how to network outside of your regular social media platforms and get onto a professional site where you can communicate and network with individuals who are in big places. So the best way to get a step up is to actually step up and talk to who's above you, and they'll reach down and help you by way of internship, maybe a volunteer position. And who knows, if you intern somewhere for the summer, You may end up with a full-time position once they know you graduated.
Okay, you said internships, right? Now, a lot of people, tend to shy away from internships because they're like, man, I ain't getting paid. I need a couple of ducats in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Getting the experience is cool, but I still need some gas. I gotta eat. And a lot of people, just understanding that you may be ready to work, but you don't necessarily want to work at McDonald's, Burger King. You're like, that ain't me. And that's okay. But what do you have to say for them that, because you said internships, like, are there internships where they can get paid?
Absolutely. Paid internships are out there. I have never, ever said, just go get an internship without explaining that there are ways to do searches for paid internships. And that's a big, big thing now. So the average rate for an intern is anywhere from $11 to $15 an hour. And guess what? That pays better than a lot of places that you can think of. But the biggest takeaway is a lot of people may say, well, Amazon pays better than that. They sure do. But you know what the difference is? They're not teaching you a trade. What will you be able to do with it when you leave Amazon other than go to another packaging and shipping organization? You're no longer doing anything that has customer service or any of the soft skills. You're basically just utilizing the fact that you can read and write to read the boxes and move the weight. That's okay if that's what you want to do because there's growth. But for the individual that's actually looking to secure a career that's going to pay a little better, you have to decide, can I hold out at $11 or $15, between $11 and $15 an hour for a few months until they actually say, yes, we really like you and we want to have you here. And another takeaway, the hidden gem, is to go to an agency. Go to an agency. They will be able to secure you a job for more money than you would be able to secure for yourself, especially as someone entering the workforce with little to no experience.
Oh man, right on with that information. Listen, because a lot of people don't even think about some of that stuff. They just, think of the old ways and, oh well, let me just try this, and this is what my mama did and this is what my daddy did, but that don't mean that that's what you gotta do. Nobody knows what is going to work for that individual but that individual that is trying to do something. And so I love how you're actually giving people the winning edge to get out of unemployment, to get over the transition of not having a job or transitioning into a new job that's probably opposite of what they ever did before. Helping people to really believe in themselves and knowing, like, no, there's something somewhere in your life that you have done something that will get you a job more than just pennies on the dollar, even though you don't have any experience. Let's comb through your resume. Let's see what you actually are capable of on how we can actually take this and say, no, this is what qualifies you as well. So you look into what's not said, right? Because a lot of times we don't even be thinking like, oh, well, what am I not saying? And that's what you do with your helping people. You really help people to see, well, you put this here, but this is what's also said as well. Like you're really combing through and finding all of the gems and the diamonds. You shift through it and help them to see, no, it's something about in your career transition, you have a lot of gems there. I'm just here to help you to find those gems that you didn't see that were there. I see you. You helping people find the gems within themselves. I like it. So, okay, let me ask you this question. Do you have anything that you have personally put out that has helped people to get the career or get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you have personally put out that has helped people to get the career or get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you use? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you have personally put out that has helped people to get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you have personally put out that has helped people to get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you have personally put out that has helped people to get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you have personally put out that has helped people to get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you have personally put out that has helped people to get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you have personally put out that has helped people to get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you have personally put out that has helped people to get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have put out or that you have personally put out that has helped people to get through the transition? Do you have anything that you have
I use career assessments a lot. It's a series of career assessments that I offer based on where my client is in their career to help them understand, guess what? I know that you work there, but this is what you love. Did you ever think about doing that all day? And once you go through a series of those, you realize, hey, this is the third one I took, and it's saying the same job. Like, I don't know if I can do that. And it's usually that fear that stops them from doing it in the first place. But I'm giving you the assessment, and you're giving me the answer. So you're telling me this is what I love. This is what I want to do. So it's you that's saying it. But when they hear it come back, they're like, can you do it? Of course you can. And that's where it comes in, where I start to coach them and show them how they can be able to articulate that they can do it, as well as document it on paper and actually have a portfolio of samples of things that they've done as well. And before you know it, we're off to the races and starting to build everything else we have to build to make them ready for when they have that first interview.
Now, see, I know a lot about personality assessments, me doing this assessments myself with my clients, and I never even heard of what you just spoke of, career assessment, right? And so that's a beautiful thing, to be able to give your client a career assessment and then help them to see, like, no, this, based upon these answers, this is what you should be doing if you're trying to actually find out what your gift is. I love that aspect about it, because a lot of people are trying to figure out, man, what is it that I'm good at? What is,
Right.
what is my gift, or what is my talent? Like, you really helping people to find that confidence in themselves and in their abilities. And so that's beautiful, because if we didn't get that at home as children, and we didn't get what we are good at nurtured, then we'll find ourselves just doing stuff just to get by. And we're not doing something, as you said, doing what I love all day long. And that's what
Right.
you're helping people to do. So you do a way more than just career transition. You really help people to find their gift.
Right.
So if you're trying to figure out what it is that you want to do with your life, that is going to help you to be able to do that thing, or have that talent exposed, they're going to go through the assessment. And then after they go through the assessment, you're going to say, okay, these are the different jobs that you should be looking into. This is the career you should be looking into. And now we're going to actually go through your resume on the things that you have done already. And we're going to see how you can actually get this job here that you probably would be loving to do with the rest of your time, right? I love
Right.
that. I love that. That's powerful, because I know that that will give people the confidence that they actually need to believe in themselves. And so what you do with the assessment, you actually pull a mirror up to them and help them to see themselves. Like, no, the assessment just showed that this is you. And so, because you see who you truly are now let me help you to walk into your gift. That's beautiful of what you're doing. You're helping people to really walk into their gift. That's amazing, because everybody is trying to figure out, what should I be doing with my life besides this job? And especially, a lot of people that retire from their job, they're like, all right, what's the next thing? I didn't retire from the job. Now what do I do? Oh,
Mm.
you need to get in contact with Coach Marcy, because she's going to help you to find your gift, or learn how to take your gift and now turn it into a business, or even finding how to do something that you actually love. Listen, I love that. That is beautiful. I love what you're doing, because that is really helping people on a whole deeper level. A whole deeper level. Finding out your purpose is much deeper than just having a job.
Right.
Now the kicker is, she gonna also help you catch that bag too. You know what I'm saying? You ain't
Yes,
gonna be working for pennies on the dollar. You know what
that's
I'm
right.
saying? Because I heard it earlier. You said, no, I got 25K more than what I actually was getting at my other job. So she gonna help you get the bag as well. So it ain't like, oh no, I'm doing what I love, but my pockets is hurting over here. No, 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 no,
Right.
no. You definitely gonna be straight when you get that help from her. So I definitely encourage any of my listeners, if this is not for you, this probably is for somebody that you know. You probably know somebody who's trying to figure out what it is that they love to do, what it is that their gifts, what their talents are. They're in a transition. Maybe you're in a transition. Career Coach Marcy is not only going to help you find your gift and your talent and find what you should be doing for the rest of your life that you love, but also go through the transition and get paid what you deserve, even if you have not actually worked in that field ever before. I ain't never heard that in my life. I could get a job doing something that I have no idea what I'm
Yep.
doing, but I could actually be getting hired and getting it back.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Marcy. Where can people actually find you if they want to connect with you, if they want to get coaching from you, or direct someone to you?
Okay. Well, my email is coachmarcy@coachmarcy.net. My website is careercoachmarcy.squarespace.com. You can even send me a text at 229-410-2728. But the biggest one and the biggest takeaway is social media. I'm on Facebook as Career Coach Marcy, as well as on Instagram, the same, and TikTok as the same. All of them are Career Coach Marcy. So it's very easy to access me. And one thing that I love to do for everyone that reaches out is I provide a complimentary resume review. And with that complimentary resume review, I also give 1 hour of free career coaching.
Nice, nice, nice. Now, I know that I've listened to your podcast and it is really, really good. If people can't even afford to get coaching from you, what is your podcast that people should definitely be listening to, because you drop a lot of information on there that I just think is helpful?
Sure. Well, my podcast is called Why Me, the Career Transition Podcast. And that is geared toward anyone that is in the workforce. So whether you're 18 or whether you're 55, it is everything that you need to know about how to secure a career, how to transition from a career, how to understand when things are just not going right in the workplace and who can help you, as well as other tips and tricks that will help you elevate financially in your career. And that is located on Google Podcasts. It's also on Spotify. It's on Anchor FM. It is on iTunes. It is on everything. I'm sorry, Apple Podcasts. So it's on everything. And it comes out every week on the weekend, and guaranteed something is dropped every episode that you did not know existed in the workforce. So those are the tidbits about my podcast.
Listen, I want to thank you for joining me, reaching out to my people, helping the people on the way that you help them, and the dynamic scale is just amazing. So I just want to again thank you for all the work that you do. You're changing people's lives. You're helping people truly. And look, now it's time for Ask Mr. Mindful Minute. So, Marcy, what is a question that you have for Mr. Mindful Minute himself?
So my biggest question I have for you is, how do you unwind after you coach clients?
Okay, so some of the things that I do personally after I coach my clients, one, I do my best not to coach clients back to back. That's like oh, I finished at 7, I got another client at 7. I do my best to try not to allow clients to have back-to-back, because I need at least 5 to 10 minutes of digression time for me to release what I have just dealt with my previous client. Because the information that I just went through, or that I just received, and how I just helped my client, that is still sitting in me. And I need to release that out of me, because I take information in, but I don't take it on. And that can be really hard as a coach sometimes. We take information in, and sometimes we take information on. And therapists find it that they tend to do the same thing. So we want to make sure that we're just giving ourselves 5 to 10 minutes of release time for ourselves. And then something else that I do is I listen to 432 hertz music, because what that does is the frequencies in the music, it actually helps lessen and lower the frequencies in my brain. So I can now start saying certain things, because I'm an affirmation coach as well. I'll start saying certain affirmations to myself, so I don't actually become what my client is dealing with. Because we have to remember, when we're coach, guess what? We're not just helping other people, we're helping people with who we are. So every single client that I help, I'm helping me. Whenever they're just a reflection of me. I feel as though that I'm just talking to myself. Everything that I would say to them, I've probably experienced it myself, and I may have dealt with it at some point. So I need to remind myself, hey, you're not that. So if I was helping my client with time management, I have to say affirmations to myself. I am punctual. I can't now take on that lack of time management, because my client did, and we were just talking about it for the last 45 minutes. So I have to do those type of things with myself. So something else that I also do is I listen to instrumental music, because I don't want to be hearing words. I just want to hear the sounds, because it is now, I'm very big on frequency. And so the frequency that I want to remember to tell myself is I want to calm down. So those are some of the tips that I actually use to digress, so to say, in between my clients after I have a client, because it's very, very important for us to take in information, but not take on information. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, thank you so much.
Not a problem, not a problem. So remember, greatness is within you. Greatness is a mindset. And y'all know what my motto is: go be great.
You're in control of how you feel. You're in control. You are the determining factor of your feelings. No one else can control how you feel. Remember, you're in control of how you feel. So control your feelings.